So you are cruising over the roads with your nice ride. You're showing your girlfriend your nice BMW, and she's very happy because you've been successful in life. Both of you are very happy riding together, probably going to a trip somewhere far from your house, and suddenly the car starts to lose power. Start feeling that the engine is not working properly. Start feeling the car doesn't feel well, and you are worried about the car now, and you don't think about your girlfriend anymore, and this message appears to the screen. Well, that doesn't mean that this happened to you, but usually that's how this problem happens. Usually you're just cruising around, and you start feeling that the engine is not working properly, and that's how the drivetrain malfunction comes. Probably some of you know about this problem, the drivetrain malfunction, and this problem is caused when there is a major problem with the engine. Today I'm going to talk about what that problem is and what does it do. So the drivetrain malfunction, it is some kind of failsafe mode or link mode or a derate mode or any other name you can name it, because every manufacturer has a different name for it. So that what that does is protects the emission system, the engine or transmission, or prevent the engine to release pollution to the atmosphere. That's the reason why manufacturers are putting these drivetrain malfunctions or link modes or whatever else you want to call it. What the problem is then when the computer, the engine module detects a problem on the engine functionality, it actually stops the engine from having a major problem, and by doing that it decreases the power that the engine has. Like, for example, if the engine is starting to misfire, so what it does is it will cut the fuel delivery to the cylinder, so that way it doesn't do anything else but just like misfire. And the problem is then the drivetrain malfunction affects different components, affects the engine and the transmission, and until you don't hook a expensive scanner to know what is going on, you never know. Usually the major reasons why the drivetrain malfunction happens on the engine is because or either the spark plugs or the coils are bad, the injectors are going bad too, the fuel injectors, or there is a air suction, then the computer is not reading, and that's how this drivetrain malfunction happens. And when in the case of the transmission, when the drivetrain malfunction happens to the transmission, it will affect or either shifting solenoids, or usually the fluid pressure is too low, and that will give you the problem. When you go to a shop, especially with BMW, you will be talking about like $1,000 plus to repair these problems. And it is not because it is expensive. It's because BMW or a high-end shop will recommend you to change everything at the same time. For example, if you have spark plugs that are bad, the BMW dealer or the shop will recommend you to replace all the spark plugs and the coils at the same time to prevent future problems, and that will guarantee their jobs. Actually, in some cases, BMW will recommend you to replace spark plugs, coils, and injectors, and that is super expensive, and that's how you end with a bill of $5,000 to solve this problem. And that's how people get scared about these vehicles, because they're super expensive. And don't think that BMW is the only one that has these problems. Mercedes has it, Audi has it, even Honda have this problem, because the drivetrain malfunction, it is a link mode, a failsafe mode, as we said before. Then EPA requires to have on all cars because emissions. That way, if there is a problem, the engine will actually do something to let you know then you need to repair it. Because in the past, with the old engines that didn't have this problem, if you have a spark plug that wasn't working, the injector will still working, like will still injecting fuel, and that fuel will come directly to the atmosphere, and that will pollute the atmosphere. And that's the reason why EPA push the manufacturers to make something like this to protect the atmosphere. So that's what it is. That is the drivetrain malfunction. It doesn't affect every single BMW, but when it affects, it actually makes you feel worried about the car. Usually the drivetrain malfunction on the engine area happens because of the spark plugs. In many cases, the spark plugs do not resist the work time, or they get too old, and that's when these problems start to happen. And another very common cause are the injectors, the fuel injectors, because in this case these injectors are high pressure fuel injectors. They need high pressure, and anything then gets in between the needles and everything gets stuck and reduces the amount of fuel that is getting delivery, and then is when the computer detects a problem. And the computer detects the problem, like drivetrain malfunction with the engine. It detects it by using the crankshaft position sensor and the camshaft position sensor. That's how it detects, because when the engine speed is rotating, right, there is a specific pause on the area of the rotation area, and that's when the computer starts detecting that there is some misfire. In the case of the engine, if you replace the spark plugs, you replace the coils, you replace the injectors, you replace any vacuum hose that was broken, and still having misfiring, and still having the drivetrain malfunction message coming to the dashboard, that means then the engine is having problems. Because in some cases the engine inside the combustion chamber can leak the pressure, and that causes these similar problems. And to fix this problem, I mean, you have to repair the engine or replace the engine, and that is super expensive. But as I said before, in the majority of cases, only spark plugs are the ones that need to be replaced. In this case, this 2009 BMW 750 Li is having the problem, and everything looks fine. There is no weird noises. There is not other cuts besides misfiring. So that means that the coils are working well, the injectors are working well, and the only shit thing that I can think about it is the spark plugs. So we want to replace the spark plugs, and then we go. And if we replace the spark plugs and the problem is not solved, that means that there is a bigger problem than just that. But that's how you go. And this video was to let you know what the drivetrain malfunction is, because many of you wanna get scared because you don't know about this. And if you go to a shop, the shop is gonna tell you it's going to cost you this much money, and you don't wanna spend that much money because, I mean, it's just super expensive. So we're gonna do a video on how to replace the spark plugs on this model. It's gonna work for all N63 engines, doesn't matter what chassis they are. And we're gonna do that video so all of you know how to replace the spark plugs on the N63 engines. And just stay tuned for that, then it's gonna come soon. And that will be all. Any questions you have about this video, you can use the comment section below, or you can email us, or use IG. You can follow us there, and then you can message us, so we can give you answers to any questions, or just see what we can do for you, how we can be helpful to you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and if you want more content like this, be sure to like the video, because we do our best to make the best videos possible. Thank you.